Good morning, everyone. Habari ya leo. Let me say I'll ride on the protocols that have already been established. We have many dignitaries in the room, but I want to recognize the presence of the CS in charge of tourism and wildlife, Rebecca Miano, and to recognize the PSS who are present, starting with Mr. Shadrach Mwadime, who is the PS in charge of labor and skills development. We have, thank you. We have PS Dr. Esther Mworia, PS Beatrice Inyangala, PS Professor Shokat Abduala. I believe he's left. I want to recognize the representative of ILO, Isaac Mwema, who in many ways is my son. He'll explain to you how, if you have coffee with him. Chief Executive Officers present, including the CEO of the National Youth Council, the CEO of the Nation Media Group, Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, and Mary Mwiti of the Council of Governors. I recognize the representative of COTU, Bruno Otiato, other CEOs present, esteemed colleagues, stakeholders, and partners in the labor and education sectors. Last but not least, I recognize the vibrant youth of this country who bring us here today. Habari zenu. I represent the tail end of what we're discussing this morning. That is employment, because we impart skills in the vision that the learners will end up in the world of work, either the formal world of work or self-employment. But we know that the world of work is changing fast, and it will continue to change. Artificial intelligence, automation, and digital platforms are redefining jobs, workspaces, and entire industries. But let me be clear and echo what has been said by a number of the speakers who went before me. Technology is not a threat. It is an opportunity. We must therefore embrace emerging forms of employment and not resist them. The traditional ways of working are being replaced by agile, remote, and digital models. And we were discussing this topic in the last International Labour Conference where the PS led us, looking at platform work. Is it employment? What are the rights and obligations? And it was a difficult conversation, especially as you look at the sharp difference between the developed world and the developing world. But I think we've already heard this morning that the greatest need is for us to have a new mindset, one that understands that learning how to learn is perhaps the most important skill of all in the world today. To remain relevant, competitive, and productive, our young people need to be future ready. This calls for strategic investment in skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. We must constantly ask ourselves this question: what are we training our young people for? Education and training must move in step with the needs of the job market. And I can tell you there's a huge gap between the needs of the job market and what is happening in our learning and education institutions. Yes, there are a lot of initiatives to address that. It's improving, but there is still a gap, as supported by evidence from research that not just FKE has done, but this is research that has been done at a global level. So there is need for closer and meaningful collaboration between industry and learning institutions. The Federation of Kenya Employers has been doing a lot of work in the area of skills development. So let me just share with you a few of the things we've done. Our objective is to address this skills gap and support young people on their journey to meaningful work, because that is the vision we have at the ILO level and in the labor sector, that there would be decent work, work that is satisfying to the person working and also contributes to national development. The first initiative FKE has undertaken is an annual skills mismatch survey, and this is the one I'm talking about, in an effort to understand the dynamic nature of the job market and identifying the key gaps that inform the development of skills in our country. This helps us to anticipate the skills that will be in demand and guide our youth accordingly. Secondly, in our commitment towards bridging the gap between the classroom learning and the real demands of the labor market, FKE, in partnership with GIZ, who just spoke before me, is proud to be implementing the dual training program across various TVET institutions in this country. Through this initiative, we have successfully mobilized over 200 companies to provide workplace training opportunities, giving students practical hands-on experience in real work environments. To support quality delivery, we have trained 58 in-company trainers as trainer of trainers, equipping them to mentor and guide students effectively at the workplace. In addition, 19 TVET institutions have been fully prepared to implement the dual TVET model with their staff trained as master trainers who will lead the way in transforming vocational education. I'm also pleased to share with you that 478 students have so far been trained in essential soft skills and work readiness and placed in partner companies to gain real world of work exposure. Thirdly, I want to talk about our Girls and Tech program, specifically targeting girls in secondary schools, TVETs, and universities to encourage them to pursue STEM, which we know is a big need in the world today. This initiative has seen 72% of the participating girls enroll in STEM-related careers. Last year and this year alone, we have reached over 4,000 girls with this life-changing program. Additionally, FKE provides leadership in skills development by serving on national boards such as the National Industrial Training Authority, the Higher Education Loans Board, National Employment Authority, Commission for University Education, and the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, among others. Lastly, at the continental and international level, we also contribute to many debates that are happening to address this issue through Business Africa Employers Confederation, and we do this under a program called Skills Initiative for Africa, SIFA. So as we reflect on the progress made today, there has been a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to be done. It is also important for us to look ahead and take decisive action. In this virtual, automated, and AI-powered era, technology is no longer optional. It is essential. No business will remain competitive without adopting modern technology and embracing digital transformation. Likewise, no employee will remain productive without being adaptable, self-disciplined, and digitally literate. I therefore want to conclude by calling upon all of us, starting with the government, to integrate technology, financial literacy, and ethics into the entire basic education curriculum from grade 1 through to grade 12, and especially for the CBC of primary class that is set to transition to grade 10. I believe that every Kenyan child or young person deserves a financial and digital head start. I was very interested in an earlier conversation we were having before we came in, that there was at some point some conversation as to whether science, as to whether maths in particular, should be compulsory or not. What do you think? Should it be? Yes. Good. I wasn't very good at it, but I believe it must continue to be compulsory. As I urge policymakers, let me talk about those in my labor sector as well, the trade unions, employers, industry. We need to engage in higher and more meaningful dialogue for us to have actionable inputs into what is needed to embrace these new and emerging forms of work and to help our young people prepare better for the world of employment. Let us remember that change is the only constant. Policy, practice, and mindset must align with this new normal. To our young people, you are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are the innovators and disruptors of today. You have the power to shape the future, but only if we, the adults in this room and beyond, make the right investments, build the right partnerships, and remove the barriers that hold you back. Let us celebrate the World Youth Skills Day by committing to real, actionable solutions that unlock the full potential of Kenya's youth in the age of AI. And we as employers will be ready to support you and embrace you as you enter the world of work. Thank you.
1, 2. Somebody turn to your neighbor and just tell them, good morning. Did you have some breakfast? Tell them it's okay, I will buy you breakfast. Tell them it's okay, I will buy you breakfast. If it's your boss, avoid, because you won't have a pay rise soon after. Madam CS, I don't know if you're seated next to our CEO, and he's a very interesting gentleman. Do you know what his hobby is? Yeah, turn to the person next to you, tell them your hobby. Share that hobby. Yes. Share that hobby. Hobby is something you love doing during your free time. If you're busy, chances are you don't have a hobby. Without much ado, I'd like to welcome an amazing human being who is also the PS State Department of Technical and Vocational Education and Training. Her name is Dr. Esther Dhara Mworia. Tumpigie makofi anapokuja. Wewe, daktari. Yeah? I was asked not to mispronounce your name, so out of 10, how did I score?
6.
How do you pronounce your name?
Which one? I have 3. Dhara. You stop putting English into it. It is Dhara. The Cabinet Secretary present, my sister Miano, my colleague PS, who is remaining, Mwadime, CEO Nation Group, Geoffrey, Bruno Otiato, the little Atuoli that I saw this morning, Jacqueline Mogo, my sister who I also work with in another space, County Director ILO Caroline, National TVET Coordinator, my partner in crime, Gideon Murenga, Glory Wawera, the CEO, Youth Council, TVET principals present. I hope they are here. TVET principals, can I see you? I'll give them lighter duties tomorrow. Development partners, our lovely youth, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Habari zenu, nisalimieni hewani, I am a preacher in another world. The story of the Asian tiger, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong is one of nations that rose from poverty to prosperity, not through abundant natural resources, but through the deliberate skilling, discipline, and commitment of their citizens, especially the youth. During their remarkable rise in the 60s and 90s, these countries leveraged the technology of their time, such as manufacturing and industrial automation, to skill their youthful populations and transform them into agents of growth through focused investment in education, training, investment, and industry. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is nothing else that I am going to say here, or if there is nothing else you're going to carry with you, please let this be. And let this sink into us, that as a country, as a government, as the private sector, if we get our act right, by getting these young people with the right skills, we are going to get this country to somewhere else. I am convinced, I am convicted, and I am ready to be on the driving seat to ensure and to see to it that as a country we get to do this. Some of the speakers who are here before me are speaking about the gaps. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a pain point for me. We cannot be speaking about work and training gap for every year in, every year out. We must make a decision as a country, as government, and all of us to really be able to do whatever it takes. The countries I have just talked about are not from heaven. My friends, they're from right down here. They're people like us, but they made a decision, I think one day, or did they take time to make that decision? And once that decision was made, it was a matter of getting things done and getting us to get to where we must go as a country. Speaking, talking, holding conferences, and just going home is not going to help us. CS, we must make a decision as the government to lead everybody else to where we must go as a country. We must decide to give these young people whatever it is that they need, because they've got the energy to just plummet this country to another level. We have, each one of us, something to do, and we must get it done. Mwandime, you must give me those OSs that I need to develop the curricula and to develop my trainers, to be able to get these young people with the right skills. I am doing whatever it takes to get into AI and digital skills. I have actually been struggling. I have done well with Murenga. My sister Jacqueline, this is not, did you say 17 institutions? How many are they in Murenga? 100. 100 TVET institutions are already dualed, practically training our young people from my institutions to the industry. And just the other day, I have a speech to read. And just the other day, we now broke our curricula into modules, where we are practically crafting our young people for 3 months and certifying them. And within those 3 months, they are well crafted to be in the world of work. But I still have 2 million young people to bring into the TVET institutions by the end of this year. How will I train those young people? 2 million of them. I do not have the workshops. I do not have the laboratories, because in TVET now we do not have classrooms. We have workshops and laboratories. I don't have. So I have to go into AI and digitize the training so that they can literally train on their phones. They can train on any gadget that they have. So for me, this conversation that is going on here today is very, very important, because we in TVET have done, and our working partners, thank you very much GIZ, and all our working partners, we have struggled to do our best to link the training and the industry, but it is not enough. Our young people need to use whatever they like best, the technology, the AI, and the digital space, to be able to train. But what we must achieve as a country is a well-skilled youth, because they, like I've said, they also have the energy, and this is where we must leverage on so that we become like the tigers that I spoke about. This year's theme, therefore, youth empowerment through AI and digital skills, could not be more timely and aligning perfectly with the Kenya Kwanza Digital Superhighway and Creative Economy agenda. The agenda seeks to leverage modern technology and skills as the true drivers of national development. Kenya remains a young nation with youth comprising over 1/3 of the population, yet youth unemployment persists at concerning levels. Estimated at 12%, I think it is even higher than that, with many more underemployment. At the heart of this challenge lies the skills mismatch, like we've already said, and we must remain committed to bridging this gap. Since 2023, CBET has been fully implemented across TVET institutions, and in May 2025, modular training has been adopted, like I've already said, with specific skills being trained and certified every 3 months. This has further strengthened industry linkages by embedding employers at every stage. I commend GIZ Kenya, which broke the ice by pioneering structured industrial engagement in Kenya through the dual training model that Morenga spoke about, laying the foundation for the active collaboration between TVET and industry. This partnership must stay and be even scaled higher. Ladies and gentlemen, the TVET sector is continuously reviewing and updating its curricula and has now established G2 labs in over 150 TVET institutions to equip trainees and youth in the communities with digital skills for the work. As Kenya targets to enroll and skill over 2 million youths, like I've already said, we must leverage on AI and the digital economy. These efforts reaffirm that TVET in Kenya is both physically accessible and soon to be accessible virtually as well. Distinguished guests, it is evident that TVET provides a various and prestigious directed pathway to tertiary education. In fact, let me state here that now the universities have already listened to the space, and we are already training universities on CBET education. We graduated the first cohort of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology trainers who we are now training on the CBET space. Because by 2029, the ones in high school will now be grade what? 9. Grade 9 will be in the university, and they had better be found ready. So we are happy that now the universities are listening to the CBET space, and we encourage all other universities to come on board. We are prepared to train them so that we are speaking the same language as a country. In conclusion, I extend sincere appreciation to the Nation Media Group, GIZ Kenya, for organizing the 2025 Skill Up Africa event and fostering a collective commitment to skilling Kenyan youth for competitive economy. And to the youth of Kenya, as you like to say, hii Kenya hatutoki na hatuhami. Si mnasemanga hivyo? Hatutoki na hata sisi tumeonanga masiku mengi hatutoki, wote tunakaa hapa. So let us make it better by skilling ourselves, practicing our craft and striving for excellence every day, striving for excellence. C.S. Miano and Mwandime and others who have been around for some time, we have to decide to get things done. We have to decide to get things done. We have to do it. We have to get things done. History has shown us, if you are good at what you do, you will be traced. I was in Australia the other day, and C.S. Miano was there just before me. And we found a man there called Mosau. Mosau was traced by some people from Dubai in Thika because he was very good at mechanical engineering. They took him to Dubai. And some people traced him from Dubai to Australia. So we found him in Australia, earning 50,000 shillings a day. And he was there. Na Musau aongei Kisungu mingi, anaongea Kikamba mingi kuliko Kisungu. But he is doing his work very well. My background is JKUAT. And we trained one young man he did a diploma in IT. He did a diploma in IT. And he was picked by this court in the one which jails ICC, The Hague. He is the ICT technologist in The Hague. And every time somebody tries to remove him from there, they double he has everything so that he doesn't leave that court in The Hague. They trade up a diploma in JKUAT. You can check. So be good at what you do and the world will trace you. Sio kukua generally apana. Let me show you one of my classmates in case you think I did not go to school. Get to Kongare, please stand up and wave to the crowd. This one was my classmate at Kangaroo School. And we were good at what we did. That is why we are still here. Wacha nimalize basi. As we join the world in marking a decade of Youth Skills Day, I challenge us, the policy makers, employers, training providers, and young people to sustain momentum in closing the skills gap, embracing technology, and leveraging skills as the true currency for the future. May the Lord bless you all.
She's told me I scored an 8 out of 10 because I gave her more time. To pick up my coffee once again. In another life, I would want her to be my mother-in-law. That way I'll be very focused because she said, hatutoki na hatuhami. Imagine if you're dating the daughter and you want a divorce. Atakwambia nini? Na hatufanyi nini? But all in all, one memorable quote is, if you are good at what you do, you will be traced. Sasa. Right now, I'd like to welcome Bruno Otiato. He's going to be speaking on behalf of Dr. Francis Atwoli, who is the Secretary General of KOTU. Tumpigia makofi anapokuja. Soon after, Shadrach Mwadime, CBS, PS, State Department for Labor and Skills Development, will be on standby, and he will in turn welcome Madam CS.
Thank you, Brian. CS Rebecca Miano, the Cabinet, for the Ministry of Tourism, our PS, Bona Shadrach Mwadime, PS Esther, the MD Nation Media Group, our very Sister Jacqueline Mugo, the CEO, National Youth Council, Gloria, Isaac Kiema, representing the ILO, GIZ, all other partners, good morning. And to all young people, good morning. My name is Bruno Otiato. I am from KOTU. I think the PS was very passionate about the young people agenda. And the way she spoke, I have remarks here from Brother Francis Atwoli, but before I read, I think I remembered a story that probably will resonate more with what KOTU does. And it is a proverbial story about a young man and a hammer. Who was called upon at some point. There was an issue in a company, and they looked for all their experts to fix a machine. So you would imagine probably it's a machine for printing where Bwana Odundo works, and it's failed in printing, and they call all their experts, they try to fix, they are unable to fix. Then a young man is called after weeks of trial and error, and he comes with a hammer, and he basically hits one part and the machine starts rolling. And then he is asked to issue his fee note. And in his fee note, he says it's 1 million Kenyan shillings. So he's asked, but you just spent 1 minute to fix this. How can it be 1 million? Then he answers by saying the breakdown of the fee note is 1,000 to, come here, spend the time, 999,000 to know where to hit. And that's KOTU. What we do is to defend you when they don't want to pay you for knowing where you hit. And that is the story of so many young people in Kenya today who are working as content moderators, annotators, data labelers, in the gig sector, who have all these skills that we are talking here about, but they are not being paid for doing the job that they are doing in that sector. So let me read the remarks by Brother Francis Atwoli. So first and foremost, receive solidarity greetings from COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, who would have wished to be here today, but is unable to due to other prior arrangements. Let me also take this time to thank the organizers of this event, ILO, NMG, Ministry of Labor, GIZ, and other strategic partners. Brothers and sisters, as we gather here today to celebrate this year's World Youth Skills Day, under the theme Youth Employment Through AI and Digital Skills, COTU recognizes that equipping young people with AI and digital skills not only empowers them, but also strengthens the future of the labor movement by fostering new generation of organized, skills, and aware workers. Indeed, it is an established fact that there is an urgent need to prepare our young people for the rapidly evolving world of work, where automation, artificial intelligence, and digital platforms are reshaping the labor markets. And as the champion for social justice, COTU is aware that without deliberate efforts to equip young people, especially those in the informal and marginalized sector, with relevant digital skills, the technological revolution risks deepening inequalities, unemployment, and exclusion. At the same time, COTU is committed in ensuring that through social dialogue and tripartism, the fourth industrial revolution do not erode the gains that have since been made in the world of work. We are all alive to the reality that the first industrial revolution to today's AI-driven revolution, the benefits of these technological revolutions have largely remained unequally distributed, with the various technologies exacerbating unemployment, inequality, and poverty. For this reason, as COTU, we call upon all players gathered here today to ensure that even as we are calling for AI and digital skilling for young people, there must be enhanced social dialogue and tripartism to ensure that these skilled young people do not get labor violations as they are practicing their skill. Currently, the rise of online labor platforms have exposed many young people with digital and AI skills to labor exploitation, where many young people are typically deprived of straightforward employment statuses, with them being denied fair wages, collective bargaining, and social protection. And every day I meet young people, some, I don't want to mention the companies they work for, but they are not given contracts, or when they're given contracts and they're using their digital and AI skills. As you might be aware, platforms like ChatGPT were built by many young people in Kenya whose skills and efforts were not rewarded commensurately to the work that they did. And brothers and sisters, COTU remains available to contribute to the ongoing resolve to reform our labor laws to protect our youth, even as we seek to contribute towards policies that seek to regulate AI and digital space so that the jobs that exist or emerge in these spaces do not leave the Kenyan youth exposed. That said, we call upon all players gathered here today, the National Media Group, for instance, which is a very important player in this journey, to not only document and broadcast this discussion, but to also track the implementation of the commitments that have been made here today by the tripartite partners and other development partners. As COTU, we also wish to call upon the Ministry of Labor, and I think the PS for TVET has been very big on that, to take an active lead in generating and disseminating accurate real-time labor market information that highlights the current and emerging demands for digital and AI-related occupations across sectors. Finally, COTU reaffirms its unwavering commitment to advocating for an empowered Kenyan youth through access to AI and digital skills. However, we shall not stand and watch as these skilled young people continue to be exploited in silence. We shall give our voice in this. And just as you might know, I think when the Industrial Revolution came to be, many might not have believed that time in the 1800s, that at some point the workers in those occupations will have fair wages, They will be represented in trade unions. They will have, working hours. But this is also the story of the many young people with digital and AI skills. A day will come and you can count on COTU as a strategic partner to ensure that there is fairness and there is justice and you receive a fair remuneration from what you do. Asanteni sana.
Another round of applause to Fadhali. Up next is Shadrach M. Mwadime, the PS for State Department for Labor and Skills Development, who will in turn welcome Madam CS. And right now I'd like to inform you that you are live on NTV for the past 20 minutes. Tujipigie makofi tafadhali. And we'd like to welcome everyone at home to come and join us right now for Skill Up Africa 2025. The hashtag is Skill Up Africa 2025. Bwana PS, karibu.
Thank you. Asante sana. Thank you very much, MC Rebecca Miano, the Cabinet Secretary, Tourism and Wildlife, my sister, Dr. Esther Moria, PS TVET, the representative of the country, Director, International Labour Organization, my good friend, Isaac Mwema, the Chief Executive, Nation Media Group, a very, very supportive person in terms of the programs that we have as a ministry. My brother, Geoffrey Odundo, Gloria Wawira, Acting CEO, National Youth Council, my sister, Jacqueline Mugo, the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Federation of Kenya Employers, my young brother, Bruno, representing Dr. Atwoli, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hamjambo. Muko poa? Muko poa kabisa? Sio sana. Sawa, tunaelewa. Indeed, that is the reason why we are here, and happy that the government is working very closely with the private sector. The object of government is to ensure that we impart upon you skills that will make you as employable as possible. Indeed, it is immoral for us to train you. Then after your training, after your graduation, you are unable to secure employment or to employ yourself, because that is equally as important. So we want to partner with all the stakeholders as we do an analysis of the market situation and find out the kind of skills that are required by Jacqueline Mugo and her team. We will be able to identify those gaps and then inform curriculum immediately, so that we are able to change curriculum and ensure that the skills we impart upon you make you employable. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome you warmly to this year's World Youth Skills Day, anchored on the theme, Youth Empowerment Through AI and Digital Skills. We are honored to be joined today by delegates from government, education and training institutions, industry, non-governmental organizations, civil society, development and social partners, youth organizations, and of course, very importantly, the media. Your presence here this morning is a powerful testament to our shared commitment to equipping young people with the skills they need to thrive in an increasingly dynamic and technology-driven labor market. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to state that the State Department for Labor and Skills Development is a champion of the World Youth Skills Day. This marks the third consecutive year that the department has coordinated this event. In 2024, we celebrated the World Youth Skills Day at the Kenyatta International Convention Center here, under the theme Youth Skills for Peace and Development, which emphasized the role of young people in peace building, conflict resolution, and sustainable development. In 2023, we celebrated the World Youth Skills Day again at this same venue with the theme, Skilling Teachers, Trainers, and Youth for a Transformative Future, highlighting the critical role of educators in equipping youth with future-ready skills. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Youth Skills Day is taking place at a defining moment, one marked by the bold voices and aspirations of the youth. Our young people, popularly known as the Gen Zs, as it is currently, are calling not just for employment, but for meaningful engagement. This event presents a timely opportunity to deepen that engagement towards harnessing the creativity, entrepreneurial drive, and technological acumen of the youth towards transforming their livelihoods. So to the youth, I urge you to leverage the World Youth Skills Day to deepen your understanding of artificial intelligence and digital skills. By embracing digital technologies, you are set to become champions of innovation, solving problems that existing systems have yet to address, and transforming outdated practices into forward-looking solutions. By producing new products and services and bringing to life innovations, you will be contributing to the economic progress of this country. I am a preacher like Dr. Moria, so I like quoting scripture. And in 1 Timothy 4:12, we are reminded, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. The lesson here is profound. Youth is not a limitation. Indeed, it is a calling. This passage challenges young people to lead not by age, but by example. It affirms its influence. It affirms that its influence is not reserved for the older generation, but is earned through integrity, compassion, and conviction. And I want to make reference to history. 100 years ago, the Western European countries sent their young people, people who are energetic, people who are innovative, to come and occupy the African continent because of the resource base that they saw as it was then. The resource base is still big. In Kenya, in Africa. You are the people who will assist us expand our economy. You are the drivers of change who will assist improve the standard of living of the African man and improve on his dignity, because this affects us as with reference to the color of our skin. So you can bring about that change. Don't look down upon yourself because of your age. You have all it takes to exploit the resources we have for our own good. So ladies and gentlemen, together, let us reaffirm our unwavering commitment to equipping Kenyan youth with relevant future-ready skills, including skills related to artificial intelligence and digital innovation. Let us reaffirm the power of collaboration in shaping a future where no young person is left behind, a future where every youth is employable, productive, enterprising, innovative, adaptable, and competitive. As I conclude, let me extend gratitude to all of you for sparing your time and joining us during this auspicious occasion. I also take this opportunity to thank our partners, particularly the Nation Media Group and the ILO, for continually walking the journey with us. And I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So it is now my pleasure to invite our guest who will give the keynote address, and this is none other than our CS Tourism and Wildlife. I want to call upon you in the African spirit to rise on your feet as we welcome her with a hand clap. Moja. Karibu, Madam Miano, speak to us. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, PS. The PS is here present, esteemed industry leaders, including the CEOs who are here, sector stakeholders, professionals present, brilliant young minds, pioneering innovators, digital and AI nerds, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to be here this morning. When the MC asked us to ask our neighbors what their hobbies are, my neighbor, who is the CEO of Nation Media Group, told me that his hobby is DJing. When he said that, I declined to tell him my hobby. I also recognize that the brains we have in this tent can actually blow it up and resolve all the problems that we have not only in Kenya, but in the whole world. So congratulations to all of you for showing up this morning. But allow me to start by invoking the words of former First Lady of the US, Eleanor Roosevelt, who once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." This classic piece of wisdom transcends generations and inspires young minds, such as the youthful Kenyans here, to believe in their dreams and the boundless possibilities they herald. Kenya's youth possess an innate ability to see the possible where many see obstacles. They are the truest digital natives. They are fluent in the algorithms, in the lingo, intuitive in navigating virtual landscapes that define our age and our best bet for the survival of our dreams for a fulfilling and shared destiny. This timely summit, thankfully, recognizes that prowess, and while meaningfully celebrating the capacity for our youth and nudging them to ride the digital come AI wave, to shape it and ultimately command it. I could not be happier than being part of this effort jointly hosted by the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of ICT and all the other partners, including Nation Media Group, ILO, and many others. And we want to thank them for allowing tourism to plug in. Clearly, digital mastery is not a preserve of a single ministry. It is a collective national imperative whose significance should have all hands on deck in support of our country and the economic, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that we are currently subscribing to. The fabric of our labor markets, our digital infrastructure, and indeed our very economic and social destiny hinges on the inclusion of our youth into this critical fold. Currently, Kenya is in a unique inflection point. We all know that we have breathtaking beauty. We have the majestic Mount Kenya, the pristine beaches. our wildlife, and many more. Indeed, Kenya has some of the offerings that many countries in the world do not. And what we have, including our culture, are some of the cornerstones of our tourism sector, and they are the engine of economic growth and national pride. Yet, this vital sector, the tourism sector, faces complex, evolving challenges. We need to see and ask ourselves, how do we enhance the tourism numbers and enhance the visitor experience? How do we attract all this revenue to our country? The answers lie not solely in boardrooms or policy papers. They do also in the boundless creativity and digital fluency residing within our youth. It is time to harness that power directly, and time to place the levers of innovation firmly in the most competent of hands among our population. Therefore, with tremendous joy and absolute conviction in our youth's abilities, I officially launch the Tourism AI Solutions Hackathon. The hackathon itself is far more than a competition. In fact, it is a clarion call and an invitation to Kenya's bright young minds to direct formidable digital skills and AI expertise towards solving the real puzzles facing our iconic tourism sector. Lest it slips my mind, may I remind you that over 80% of all the employees in the hospitality sector are the youth, over 80%. Therefore, today, we ask our hackathon participants to unleash their genius and bend their crafts, and bend it positively in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, and digital innovation, and push it to the farthest limits of surrender. Rethink and reimagine the existing range of our tourism offerings, and even the hidden gems of unexplored potentialities, and we must ignore the beaten path of naysayers as we do this. And therefore, hope beyond the known limits and create new edifices, demonstrate that the fusion of youthful audacity and digital mastery is the cutting edge of social progress. Let your digital brilliance illuminate fresh pathways for our tourism. You are all open billboards to help me market our precious destination. Make the impossible possible, starting right here and now. Therefore, allow me to declare our 2025 Tourism AI Solutions Hackathon officially launched. Asanteni sana. God bless Kenya. Hashtag hapa ni home. Thank you.
Tumpigie makofi once again. Anakaa poa, si ndio? Mmekataa kusema anakaa poa, si ndio? I'd like to take a photo with the speakers for today, right here. So naomba tuje, tuchukue hiyo picha. Everyone else will remain seated as the CS and the PSS will be going to the exhibition. at the moment, but all my speakers, I'll ask you to actually come here and take a photo. Let's take the photo together. Wamesema hapa ni home na hatutoki. Yes. Alafu mtanipatia yangu moja ndio ya employment, looking for the next job, si ndio? Sio pia ni skill. Haya, one more. Thank you very much.